Hi, my name is Carol Thompson, and I'm here to introduce to you Patient Comfort, a new startup in the medical supply industry. Our mission is to provide effective, efficient, easy, and inexpensive solutions to some of the challenges faced today by caregivers and the patient, all the while helping to maintain the patient's dignity and comfort. I'm looking for an investment of $200,000 for 40% share to get this started. I will also be investing $5,000 and my own time and energy into the company. Imagine you have been diagnosed with a serious illness, and as the symptoms progress, things get tough, so you need 24/7 caregiver support. Now you find out that you're choking whenever you try to swallow. That means you must have a feeding tube. Oftentimes you get a peg, which is inserted in the stomach. After the surgery, the nurse comes in to show you the care and feeding for this peg. You need to have it close to your body so that it doesn't break because it's very fragile. Then when you want to use it, you take the tape off, you do the feeding, clean it, and then use fresh tape to adhere it to your body again. Then when you want to do another feeding or you want to have some medicine, then you release the peg by taking off the tape, feed, clean, and put fresh tape on. This process is often repeated 5 to 7 times a day to make sure the patient gets enough nutrition and the medicines he or she needs. So this can get rather painful because the skin gets irritated, and ultimately it can get rash, itchy, even infected, which is in addition to what else you're facing with a serious illness. When my husband had ALS, he needed a feeding tube, but we never had that problem. So we didn't even know that tape was the normal way until we went to a support group meeting and one of the other patients had just had the surgery. He was asking how everybody else dealt with the tape and the subsequent skin problems and itching that he was experiencing, and he hadn't been able to find a cream or a gel to combat that. So we were trying to figure out what he was talking about because that's not what we did. So we showed him what we had. It looks like this. It's just a stretchy fabric. And what the nurse had done is gone to the OBGYN and gotten some maternity underwear, cut the legs off, and was using it in essence as a tube top. So therefore, our first product is the mesh band. It is a circular, seamless band of stretchy fabric about 6 inches wide and simple to use. It's also washable. And it goes over the head to hold the peg in place. You simply tuck the peg in when you're not feeding, and when you need to feed, you just slide the mesh band out of the way, do the feeding, the cleaning, and then tuck it back in. Very, very simple. So therefore, the mesh band acts as a safe pocket for the peg. It fits close to the body, provides easy access to the peg for feeding, but also easy to put it away again, and it's easy off and on the body over the head. There are no unpleasant side effects like skin damage. It's expected to last, each unit is expected to last 90 days based on a rotation of 2 units, one in use on the body while the other is washed. And frankly, it's really easy to wash it. Just rinse it out in the sink, use good soap, hang it up to dry, and then it's ready to go for the next time. So our development to date is based on the fact that we have defined the product specifications, the manufacturing and testing, and then the subsequent patent is pending funding. As far as the medical supply industry goes, it's a mature industry, it's a mature stage. Any growth is focused on technical advances on new products that solve something that hasn't already been solved. There is solid growth predicted over the next 5 years of 3.5%, which is twice that of the expected GDP. It's a highly competitive industry with 6,000 companies currently, so to better support hospitals and medical centers, who are the biggest customers, they're consolidating at a rate of about 2.5% per year, which is expected to be just over 58 companies in 2017. Right now, the two largest companies have market share of 6.4%, and the second is 5.9%. And so most of them specialize by product line. Price is relevant for the consumable products, but not the durable medical. The demand is driven by the healthcare professionals because they prescribe the course of treatment and how that patient should deal with it. In this case, with tape and the PEG tube. There is expected to be high growth in meeting the needs of the aging population as the baby boomers get older. Initially, I have discovered that there are several forms of cancers, Crohn's disease, stroke, as well as ALS, that often necessitate the need for a PEG. So I've identified, as of January 1st, 2009, almost 3 million patients in this category overall. Not all of them will need a PEG. However, if even 1% does, which would be our initial target, that's 30,000. That's about 30,000 patients times the 2 projected units purchased every 3 months. That's 8 units per patient for a total of 240,000 units. At the target price point of $5, that's $1.2 million in revenue. Let's look at the target customer. He's 53-year-old male. He's married, has children. He's been diagnosed with ALS. He can't swallow now. He chokes, so therefore he has a PEG. He needs 24/7 caregiver support, be it from the wife, the kids, if they're old enough, family, neighbors. So he can no longer work. He gets tired easily, so it's easier for him to stay home. His entertainment is television, movies, fortunately for the internet now. He also, because he can't work, he's on SSDI and probably gets Medicare, but his monthly care can exceed $20,000 a month. So they're on a tight budget, making sure they can make ends meet. There's a lot of durable medical equipment in the house. And for relief and to get more help and information, they go to the ALS support meetings, just like my husband did. So other options for taking care of the PEG tube, the competition, is initially tape, and from my studies it shows that it's used virtually 100% of the time. I did find 2 other solutions that were also created by caregivers. One's called the PEG tube management pouch, and the other is the G-tube holder. Neither one of them are very well known. They're very difficult to find, and so tape continues to be the primary methodology. As far as rolling out the PEG, our strategy is word of mouth. That's how we learned a lot of our treatments, and that's how we plan to help others. We want to spread the word directly to nurses and the patients. And how are we going to do this? To reach the medical community, like the nurses, nutritionists, and hospice people, all that. There are professional seminars that allow vendors to come in and show their products. There's different medical conferences that are targeted at stomach type issues. And then there's support organizations. We plan to address all of these to get to know the nurses and to gain their trust. Then we will also be available to sell direct to the consumer, because what we want to do is be the product of choice in the hospital after somebody has the surgery. So it's an automatic reorder. Once you've been introduced to it in the hospital and you're already using the product, you just need to know how to get more. And that's why we'll have a brochure ready for the nurse to give so that they know how to reorder. We will take orders on our website, and we don't really need a retail store because we can just do it all online. We can also go to the different organizations. We're hoping also to have bulk orders from those hospitals, from those nurses that recognize the need for it, and there's other applications that we are unaware of. Nurses, once they see a good product, they start figuring out other uses for it too, as our nurses did. So our target audience to gain confidence and to be able to approach the patient are the support groups, the various organizations like American Cancer Society, Olay Foundation, ALS Association, nurses, hospice, nutritionists, and so far I've found that these are very supportive once I'm able to gain access to them. We are endorsed by key leaders in the ALS community. They actually very resoundingly love the idea, and they're hoping we can actually go live with us. It's much better than the regular method. There's no skin damage expected or other negatives. It's effective, inexpensive, and easy, and based on personal experience, it works. We will be building networks in addition to those strong ties we have for the ALS Association, and also working through hospice and all the other areas that we've talked about. We've also established a strong advisory board to help us with the financial, the technical, the startup information, because we want to be a reputable company that does the right thing for the patients. We will network with medical suppliers to get the product out after we've done the initial rollout. And we do need to find a reputable manufacturer. So the rollout will start in Phoenix, and we will actually start with 100 units. So we'll work with 50 patients to make sure that our product specifications do meet the design, and that our manufacturer can meet the quality that we need. Then we will hire a sales manager whose sole purpose is to build a network, make the connections, and he or she will be on a base salary plus commission to demo the product, take orders, and talk to patients, and especially the medical centers and hospitals, gain entry to those. Then subsequent orders we hope to do online. We will also have phone contact available, and we'll have brochures, again, bloggers, recommendations, things like that. So we plan to be initially home-based to keep the expenses down for the initial orders, and then grow to a small office, which is only set up to take orders, to support the business, for the inventory that we need to be able to ship the smaller orders that are taken online. So we don't need a storefront, because we don't expect anybody to come buy directly from us. Instead, we would also like to make it available through some of the bigger supply companies, the medical supply companies. And we do anticipate having a part-time admin to handle all the orders. And my time would be spent supporting both the salesperson, opening doors, as well as helping the admin and troubleshooting in the office, making sure everything's set up well, because there's always things that you got to watch. We do plan to have a GoDaddy.com website, because it's reliable. And as I said, we do have an advisory board which covers the financial, technical, medical experts, also a startup expert, and on that advisory board we would invite our investors to participate. So we also expect to break even in 2 years, and our ultimate exit strategy means that success results in a medical supply company taking this product on themselves, so we can go on to look for other opportunities to help patients. We really want to help patients who are fighting these serious illnesses. And why should they be uncomfortable unnecessarily? We want to minimize the pain and suffering caused unintentionally through these illnesses, because there's enough to do fighting the other things that we can't control. So will you join me in supporting these patients who have PEG tubes and eliminating the use of first aid tape, one patient at a time? We really want your help, so please consider being an investor. Thank you.